welcome back. It's just after Christmas, it's very cold and I'm back in the garage. So I've posted a couple of videos now, and for those eagle-eyed viewers, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to realise that some of these are being taken out of sync, and the reason for that is it's all being done on my iPhone, my trusty iPhone, and I have a iPad, AirBook, iMac, and my assumption was that it would all be infinitely compatible. Forgetting, of course, that Apple's priority is, of course, to make you buy new products rather than work with the ones that you've already bought. And so their compatibility issues, just you can't upload with this, and iMovie doesn't work with that, and it doesn't see these types of images. So I'd saved them all, and now that I'm trying to, and I've successfully, thanks to my daughter, who is an absolute wizzo, and I think young people have this refreshing naivety when it comes to technology, and they just go, oh, why don't we try this, oh, why don't we try that, and almost in a random fashion, which is a little bit different from my methodical approach, but it seems to work because she managed to find a way, a very convoluted way of getting the images off of my computer back onto my AirBook, upgrade the AirBook software to get the latest version of iMovie. So now I do seem to have a bit of a process which I can manage, and it's much easier now to actually get something into iMovie and onto YouTube. Today I'm going to be looking at the engine cowlings, which I have fabricated in fiberglass. Quite a bit of effort thus far, but now I've given them a quick coat of paint after initial sort of rubbing down and a bit of filling. They don't seem to be too bad, actually. Not a bad effort thus far, albeit I remember when I was working on a Mark I Ford Capri, and rubbing it down and putting it all into primer, thinking that looks absolutely cracking. And then when, of course, you spray it in either gloss or matte or whatever, it looks a complete pig's ear. So time will tell, and whether my experience is going to come forward in spraying and filling and so on. But yeah, as you can see from the background, yeah, there's a bike lift that will come in later videos. Assuming, of course, because some of them, although I've uploaded them onto my computer, now they won't backload onto iMovie. So there are a couple of videos missing, I think, in video 2. The ones of me laying up fiberglass just wouldn't translate, completely started to fragment and break up. So yeah, so let's crack on with this. And basically I'm just going to drill some holes, get them mounted on the bike, and then I'll come back to these a bit later on, because my priority at the moment is getting the frame sorted so that I can spray it. I need a reasonably warm day to do that, and a few heaters, and then sort of get the bike, the rear end, sorted back on in one piece, and then start to sort of work on the front. Managed to get a bit of jigging around because the obviously the cowling is all at an angle, and all of the fixings, with the exception of these two, are all square to the frame. So there's going to be a little bit of I need to build up a sort of an edge similar to like this one had on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you see it's got a bevel there to an offset. But generally speaking, went on not too bad. The holes are roughly in the right place and all the screws are in and it's holding it nice and tight. And the downside, there is a little bit of where this fold goes in, it does stick out very slightly. I think once it's all colour coded it will look less pronounced. This wasn't, the original wasn't exactly a 3mm gap all the way around. On the negative side of using, what I should have done was fix or fit this before I did any filler work, because there's a crack now appeared down there because the fiberglass seems to have flexed since the original when I laid it up, or maybe the cardboard was just sort of bending to compensate. So there's a bit of a crack there which I need to sort out. But I think generally speaking, it does look an awful lot better than the original sort of bulkiness, which is a bit of an outdated sort of styling. I had to put that line there, that fold line there, which looks okay, but that's because the ignition coil was behind there. So I couldn't hug tightly to this side of the frame without resighting the ignition coils. But there's not a lot of room under the tank. They've got to be somewhere that's protected from the weather. But I think what this illustrates is there's a much more room now for the clip-ons to actually get full lock on without hitting anything. And I have tested this out. I took it down off the bike ramp just to test out the positioning of these clip-ons. But I think if I can get the camera close enough, what you'll see is, oops. Right, there's the new slimline version, and if you put that on, it just comes out so much further. I don't know if you can see that. You can just see how much that really comes out. And from the front, you can see the profile really changes. You could almost mount headlamps in those parts for the horn. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. Not 100% successful, but we'll see. And if this continues to crack, because it is under a little bit of pressure, and obviously while fiberglass does flex, filler doesn't, not in the same way. But I'll crack on with these, and I will try and repair that, and I need to sort of come up with a solution for those angled holes. Going to fit the other side, and if it still looks a bit iffy, at least I'll have a good template to do something in sheet steel. Right, this side went on much better. It does help using longer screws until I can, longer bolts, until I can actually get them all worked in and get the holes nice and tight. But that's again a little bit of a gap there, but I've just checked, and yeah, it was what I had to put in order to clear the ignition coil. So that's a sort of needs must really. It's under a lot less stress than the other side, so there's no cracking or anything involved on this one. And as you can see from the other side as well. But yeah, reasonably happy with the results. And I think, as you can see now, we haven't got these great big sort of squarish bits coming in. And I think although it's in primer at the moment. I think that's going to look pretty cool. So yes, a little bit of work to do still to refine it, and they'll all be fitted on rubber washers. But yeah, that'll do for the moment. And I think I might get back to the frame now so that I can start to prepare it for painting. Cool.